Hey, this is Jamie from Capsule Computers, and today I want to welcome you to another review. We've got a Buttkicker Gamer 2 here for review. It is a tactile transducer system designed for gamers in mind. For those of you who don't know what a tactile transducer is, they're also known as bass shakers, and what they do is they take the low-end frequency that you would usually hear coming out of your subwoofer and turn it into a tactile response. So in this case, it runs a piston. I think it's a piston in here, but it's pretty much a motor that just kind of causes it to shake. Now, these are used in military simulators, and drummers may use these so they can monitor their playing without having to use really expensive studio monitors that will allow them to actually hear the bass. There are a lot of tactile transducers on the market, but a lot of times they come in as parts where you need to be able to know how to wire them correctly and then set them up. So what Gitamer has done is created a system that is pretty much so simple that anyone who can read a book and look at some pictures even can install one of these. These are designed to work with your standard swiveling office chair, but for those of us with play seats, there is actually an adapter that will work with it. It simply just attaches to the vertical pole on your office chair like so, and then screws in. You just gotta screw it in tight. And you connect it into the subwoofer amp right over here. It's a 90-watt subwoofer amp. And then you connect the amp to your audio source, whether it's your favorite console, your computer, pretty much anything with either a RCA out jack or a 3.5 millimeter jack will be able to output sound to this. Now, those of us with USB headphones or USB digital audio converters may have a little bit of trouble using this simply because you need some sort of analog output, but there is some more ways to work around it. And if you read the review, actually, I do post one way on Windows you can use the Buttkicker with a USB headphone. But over here, you've got your power button, a low filter cutoff, a high cutoff frequency, and your volume switch up and down. There is a remote to go with this that will actually control the volume and turn this unit off and on. The low filter cutoff will not drop down all the really low frequency, drop it by about 12 decibels, while the high frequency cutoff will knock off the certain parts of the range, so maybe a really deep voice might not trigger the tactile transducer. Hookup is pretty dead easy. It's a power plug here, and it's a replaceable fuse box in case you manage to blow it. Power switch, a input here for, as I said, the RCA, and an output in case you need to push the sound elsewhere, and then just some plain old banana speaker plugs. All the cables you need come with the set, and there's a lot of length in that cable. It also comes with a shorter cable attached to the actual Buttkicker, which allows you to disconnect the system in case you try to move your chair to a new area or whatnot, so you don't have to completely disassemble the system. Overall, setting the system up only took me about 5 minutes. To be honest, it took more time for me to run the cables in a neat way that I'd be happy with than it actually did installing one of these. There are some system settings that the Buttkicker system does make some recommendations for, what filter cutoff to use for what. Personally, for gaming and movies, I just actually completely disabled the low filter cutoff. I enabled the high and left it at 40, and then adjusted the volume as necessary. For me, since I'm so close to my desk anyways, I didn't actually need the remote, but if you've got the amp far away, it is a pretty handy little thing. Now, as you can see, this amp is actually pretty darn big. It's going to take up a lot of desk space. Luckily, one of these come with it, so you can actually just store the amp vertically. Now, because it is an amp, it is actually going to produce quite a bit of heat, especially when you overdrive it. So make sure you do give it a little bit of a breathing room to let it cool off. Now, this responds to pretty much any bass frequency you throw at it, whether it's your music, your movies, and whatnot. For a headphone nut like me, one of the sad things I really missed was thunder of a good subwoofer. It's just something you don't get with headphones, especially with the high-end, really high-quality headphones. You're just that skull rattling thump just doesn't really come with really good audio. They tend to be more accurate bass versus just sheer volume of bass. So this little thing was actually turned out to be a really handy addition. It adds to the bass without having to wake your neighbors, and at the same time, it really builds a feeling of immersion. I loaded the first game I tried with this was Titanfall because I figured, hey, you know, lots of big mecha, jump, thump, 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 thump everywhere, it's gotta be good, right? And wow, I was blown off my feet, or, well, I was blown off my chair, not quite literally, but I was impressed. It adds a feeling of immersion that you really just don't get with PC gaming. And even if you do use a controller with a little bit of vibration, yeah, your hands vibrate a little, but there's something really cool about your chair just vibrating when a Titan comes down and slams into the ground. I mean, yeah, it may sound a little gimmicky, but in action, the level of immersion is just, wow, I can't believe it. Now, there are some catches. Obviously, one of these is going to make a little bit of noise, and I'm actually going to put a little video at the end of this demonstrating the actual noise it produced when I played a little bit of Dying Light. Also, if you are living in a second floor apartment, or maybe the walls are really thin, and the vibration is going to travel a bit and it may bother other people. It is something you're going to have to worry about. But if you got the right situation and you are looking for that really crazy immersive feeling for, you know, your racing sims, space sims, you can't really beat this. You can put it together in about 5 minutes, and the return is just, I can't stop gushing about how immersive this feels. It's just crazy. Now, it is about $149.95 US on the Buttkicker website, and it isn't cheap, but gosh, is it worth it. In the end, I give this a 9.5 capsules out of 10. If you want to learn more about the Buttkicker Gamer 2, I strongly recommend you scroll down to the details section and check out our full written review. So, without further ado, here is the gameplay.